Support WrestleTalk!
Is The Fiend versus Daniel Bryan amazing? I am Chopper P. Quinnell, this is Dave Just Dave, and yes, this is not a live version of WrestleTalk live, so it's just WrestleTalk, I guess. We had some technical problems with our streaming software. We started streaming earlier, and then it just cut out randomly, and I was trying to get it to work, and it's not having it. So we're doing a normal recorded version. There's going to be no, live stuff. But the super chats that did come in from when we were streaming for that little bit, we will be reading out. So now you're going to see a little transition thingy, and we're going to throw in the audio for the video from the first part of the stream, and then we're going to come back when we're going to be talking about the main part of the show. So, yeah, enjoy it. Let's get into the main talking point of this show, which is about The Fiend and Daniel Bryan. This happened on the main event segment of this show.
Yeah, Miz TV is main event.
Miz TV as the main event segment of the show.
Which is fair.
Nope, I was going to say main TV. Doesn't work.
You try.
Anyway, Daniel Bryan was a special guest on Miz TV.
Yeah.
He came out and The Miz kind of grilled him. He was saying this was built off the Fiend's attack from last week on Daniel Bryan. And he was saying, why do you think he attacked you? And Daniel Bryan didn't say anything.
Yeah, just sat there and kind of in a stony silence, really. Just sort of looking down, looking a bit, kind of looking defeated.
Yeah,
I think.
A little bit, yeah. And and then he just continued and he was saying, that's fine, you're not gonna give me an answer, I'll give you my answer. And he jumped in and he said, I think you're washed up, I think you're mentally unstable, and
so,
yada, Miz stuff.
Yeah, no one really knows who you are. You don't even know who you are. He's like, I know that we don't like each other, but, harsh truths and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Which was nice to sort of have that call back to
it's good they had character consistency with Miz and Bryan not liking each other. That's very good.
Yeah.
Bryan finally kind of pops up with his answer, and he says, yeah, I am mentally unstable. Like, whoa, that's a bit creepy. Okay. And he says, but you know what I do have? I've got passion. And that passion has led me to succeed at WrestleMania 30 and do all the crazy stuff that I've done and, kick AJ Styles in the balls to win the WWE Championship, stuff like that. And he says, no one understands my mental instability.
Yeah.
But Bray does.
Yeah, but Bray does.
Ooh, and I was like, okay, that's cool. I like that they're playing up that no one knows what Daniel Bryan is. Because that's been the story for ages, is that no one knows whether Daniel Bryan's a face or a heel, if he's the leader of the Yes Movement. He was hugging Roman Reigns, but but then he kind of wasn't really following through with that in terms of being the Yes Movement guy. So they were playing up, this kind of unstable character that is Daniel Bryan.
And it's kind of strange to think that when it comes to Daniel Bryan saying, yes, I am mentally unstable, I thought it was odd, not in a bad way, in a quite a good way, in quite an interesting way. It was odd to hear that coming from him and not where I expected it would come from, which would be Bray himself. I expected that it would be like Bray saying, yeah, you are mentally unstable, but so am I. I understand that. But no, it was Daniel Bryan saying, yes, I am mentally unstable, and so is Bray. He understands that, which was a nice twist on it.
Yeah, it was
I really
good,
enjoyed.
One of the things that Miz said as well is like the reason that the Fiend has attacked, the way he thinks the Fiend has attacked Bryan is because he can smell that Daniel Bryan is mentally unstable and he's weak and he's preying on that. And then, because they said Bray's name enough times, I guess he got summoned. So he appeared on the Titantron Firefly Funhouse intro, all that gubbins. And he came out, and he was saying, you remember what you did, don't you? He was essentially calling back to the previous Daniel Bryan being in the Wyatt family feud, which, again, really good character consistency. It's nice that Bray Wyatt is going after all the people that have wronged him in the past.
Yeah, exactly.
And he was saying, you remember what you did, don't you? Because he does. Yeah. Again, talking about the Fiend in the third person is really, really good. I like it.
I love... No one does it quite like Bray Wyatt. Just the very sudden switch where he's sort of sitting there going, you remember, don't you? Because I really think he does. Or maybe he just wants to play with you. No one does it like Bray.
Yeah, no, absolutely no one
really
does it like Bray. And yeah, it was a really good Firefly Funhouse segment. It was a really good promo. And I really he got out a toy box. and he starts throwing random stuff out of it. There was like a squeaky clown horn that he just kind of threw aside.
And a hacksaw.
And a hacksaw and like a dead baby.
Yep.
Just kind of throw it all behind, whatever, doesn't matter.
I feel like when he took out the dead baby doll thing, he sort of looked at him and was like, oh, I remember that time with Randy. And definitely was one of those that was hanging up in the house.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And then he brings out the Universal Championship, which is now blue.
Yes.
That got changed on the show. It has a blue belt now.
Yeah.
Sure. He brings it out, and he kind of holds it up in front of him, and he just says, all you need to do, Daniel, you just got to say that magic word.
You know you want to.
You know you want to. I love the fact that Bray Wyatt is now using the Universal Championship to goad people into fighting him.
Yep.
People that he wants to fight. He's like, look what I've got. You can have this if you fight me.
Yeah.
Really, really like that character dynamic. It's great. But then it cuts back to Bryan and he just goes, no.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, oh.
And
Well,
then
I thought they were going to build to Survivor Series with Bryan. I was like, oh, that's a bit weird.
But then cuts back and it's Abby the Witch who just goes, yes.
Cuts back to Bryan, who just goes, no.
And it cuts to Mercy the Buzzard, who goes, yes.
And again, back to Bryan, no.
And then it cuts to, do you know, I forget his name.
Huskus, the Peat Boy.
Huskus the Peat Boy.
Huskus the Pig Boy, yeah.
Who just goes, oink, yes.
Oink, yes. And then again, Bryan says no. And then
Cuts
it's
to Ramblin' Rabbit, who
right?
says yes. And then Daniel Bryan just answers no to everyone. Like, he's not going to, he said, like, he's not going to go and play with you. He's like, I'm not going to play with you.
Not going to go play with your puppets.
He's like, I'm not going to play with your puppets. I'm not a puppet. Been thinking, okay, cool. That's cool. You know,
nice.
He's tried to goad him into it.
Yeah.
And it just, Daniel is just like, no, I'm not. No,
I'm not going to play your game.
Not on your terms.
Yeah.
No.
And then he says, I'm going to fight you. If we're going to fight, it's going to be for the Universal Championship at Survivor Series. And I was like, oh, I mean, I thought that's what Bray was offering anyway.
Yeah.
But sure, I guess. Maybe I misread that in the first place. But
Possibly. I mean, this could be just this idea of like you say, it happens a lot in the building of feuds where someone's trying to goad someone into the fight and the person will say, no, we're doing this on my terms, not yours.
Yeah.
And, you know, Daniel Bryan has been around the industry for a very long time. He's also had history with Bray Wyatt. If this is the kind of thing where it's his first opportunity to say, I'm not going to give you the power in this situation, because when you have the power in situations, you just win.
yes.
And you get your way. And he's trying not to give Bray Wyatt his way. Something like that.
Yeah, it could totally work. I just thought that Bray said, I want a match at Survivor Series, and Bryan was like,
see.
no, I don't want a match at Survivor Series. But you know what I do want? I want a match at Survivor Series. I was like,
I see.
huh,
Okay,
right.
okay.
But maybe I just misread that to start with. He says no a lot. He says not going to play with his puppets. And then he said, if they fight, it should be for the Universal Championship. What do you say, Bray? And then Bray really creepily just goes, yes. And then he starts saying yes. He starts doing the yes chant. And then he gets quicker and quicker. And just keeps doing yes, yes, yes. And he gets crazed.
It does. Like, what starts as like, yes. Oh, nice. He's doing the callback.
He's doing the yes.
Oh, he's still going, yes. Gets more manic. Gets quicker. Almost gets angrier.
Yeah. He's getting like red in the face.
Oh, yeah.
With
he's
how
really
intensely he's saying yes at this thing. Gets a bit weird in a good way. But then I feel like that's where the show was supposed to end. This was the main event segment of the night.
Yeah.
This was the closing bit. I feel like that's where the show was supposed to end.
Yeah.
But Bray just carried on for a bit.
Yeah, he did.
And then it stopped. It cut back to the ring, and then Bryan off mic just kind of asked Miz, he goes, are we done?
Yeah.
And then Miz just goes really awkwardly, there you have it.
Yeah.
It's Daniel Bryan versus The Fiend at Survivor Series for the Universal Championship. And then Bryan walks out of the ring, and that's how the show ends.
And that's how the show ends, yeah.
Which I felt was a very awkward, weird ending, but
it did seem a little bit stilted.
I think someone missed their cue. Maybe they just they're like, oh crap, we still got a minute left.
Yeah.
So then they just carried on.
Yeah. The ending that seemed a little bit stilted, but I think it was just like an honest mistake. It didn't really impact on the overall like feel of the promo, which was really good.
So that's now been confirmed. Daniel Bryan versus The Fiend at Survivor Series for the Universal Championship, or should we now call it the Blue Universal Championship?
Wow.
It's great. So So that match, thoroughly looking forward to.
Oh, yeah.
From an in-ring perspective, I think it's going to be great.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think from a story perspective, these two are two of the best character workers in WWE today. So I think having their history together, I still think that when Daniel Bryan left the Wyatt family after his brief run when he was part of it, in a steel cage with Bray Wyatt, when he turned back and he revealed his normal gear, and he hit him with that running knee, that was genuinely one of the loudest yes chants I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, me too.
That was an incredible moment in Daniel Bryan's career.
It was.
And I think playing back off that and having Bray call back that feud and having them play off that story a bit more, I really want to see it done well.
Yeah.
And I think this is a really good start. I just feel like this build is coming a bit too late because Survivor Series is next weekend. We've got one more episode of SmackDown to go before, we get onto Survivor Series itself. So I'd rather this had like a 3-4 week build, but instead it's kind of getting more of a 2-week build, which isn't as good, but
yeah, the timing seems odd.
It does.
But if they're going to make it work, they've got two people involved in this who can make it work.
Absolutely.
I have high hopes for this one.
Yeah, me too. So like I said, I'm thoroughly looking forward to this.
Yeah.
This was a great way to end the show because now I'm looking forward to next week. I'm like, oh, I want to see what these two storytellers can do with each other's characters next week. It's a shame I couldn't say the rest for the rest of SmackDown. However, it was a good way to end. And yeah, I think it really goes to show that despite how much we've been saying that, Bray Wyatt was ruined before in his old gimmick and all that stuff, people still respond really well to the storylines that were done really well. Like the Daniel Bryan in the Wyatt family feud, it wasn't the best storyline. Honestly, it ended pretty prematurely, and there wasn't really a reason given for why Daniel Bryan left. They'd never really clarified. They're like, he was doing mind games. He was just playing with him and all that stuff. It was just kind of, but that moment when he left the Wyatt family was still an incredible moment.
Oh yeah,
it was amazing.
When he turned round, and just the look on Bray's face of just, I see.
Yeah, I see what you've done here.
Okay.
And then when Daniel Bryan's sitting on top of the cage and just doing the yes chants, and
Huge.
the whole crowd is doing it with him.
Oh yeah,
it was amazing. So I think calling back to that and playing off those moments and those storylines, it works for Bray Wyatt's character, it worked for Daniel Bryan's character. So I think this feud as a whole is a really good direction to take it. I think this is a really good next step after Bray Wyatt beat Seth Rollins. I think this is a really good, solid win that he can get over Daniel Bryan. I'm hoping he wins.
I really think so too. I don't think there's no reason for him to drop the title at all just yet.
Yeah.
And certainly no reason, with no disrespect to the man, certainly no reason for him to drop it to Daniel Bryan.
Absolutely, yeah.
Plus, it gives Bray's character so much more power, given this feud with someone who has been so massive in the industry for so long, and someone who he's got a history with, someone who in that history beat him.
Yes. Yeah.
So if he can now come back and say, well, now I'm going to destroy you, and does, obviously you don't want to hurt Daniel Bryan too much.
Yeah.
I think it should be fine because, you can trust Daniel Bryan to do the work and not hurt himself.
Yeah. And that's the thing with Daniel Bryan, is however many losses he takes, he still feels like a big deal.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
He lost to Adam Cole, clean.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't
He's going
matter.
for the Universal Championship, and it still feels perfectly fine. It's not like, no, but he lost to the NXT champion. He's not worthy of a Universal
There's not many
shot.
that could actually realistically get away with that.
I know.
And so to take someone of that magnitude, that caliber, with the history he has with Bray, and put him directly into the story with Bray, it's a good move.
Oh yeah, it's a great move. I'm really glad they're going this route with these two.
Yeah.
It's a great feud to pick for Wyatt straight after he wins a title, and it's good for Bryan as well to put him back into a title feud, keep him as a main event big deal.
Yeah.
Even if he loses to the Fiend, that's not a bad thing because the Fiend is basically indestructible at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
And then,
Daniel Bryan isn't going to be made to look weak.
No, exactly. Yeah.
He's too good to be made to look weak.
Yeah, he's far too good for that.
Yeah.
But let's get into some super chats. Let's see what you guys
Lovely.
thought. Tim Arndt said, "What's the bet? The Fiend's lights will be blue now." It won't actually. There was a dark match after the show, which was the Fiend versus Daniel Bryan, which was the advertised match for Survivor Series, and the lights were still red.
Ah, well, there we go.
So red light's not going anywhere, and it definitely is still red. Will HM says, Michael Cole, have you ever met a tough guy named Kip? Is that a dig at AEW for Kip Sabian? Possibly. I don't know. I don't think he knows who Kip Sabian is, in all honesty. So,
well, I remember hearing Cole say that, and for a split second, my mind went, "Yeah, same kind of thing with Kevin." Oh wait, hang on, there was that big tall guy.
How about Kevin Owens or Kevin Nash?
Well, I was thinking Nash.
Or Kevin
Nash is the big tall guy.
Or Kevin from Home Alone. Firefly.
Oh, he's tough. Oh, come on now. This is my house. I have to defend it.
Firefly Fan House, Ender Madden said, I
Great
like
name.
the blue Universal Championship. I prefer it to the red Universal Championship. That much is for sure. I do prefer I think the blue color is easier on the eyes than the red was.
Yeah, I think it's a change that is going to take some getting used to.
Yeah, for sure.
But, yeah, it looks fine, you know?
Yeah, I think it's better than the red one. It's still not a good design. Let's get that out there. It's not a good design. I
Yeah.
still don't like it, but it's better than red.
Yeah.
Matthew Robinson said, weird, almost forgot NXT brought women from both sides of the War Games match. Wish there was more time between War Games and Survivor Series. Me too.
Yeah, with you on that.
We're going to talk about that a lot more when we get into the main portion of the show
absolutely.
here with that women's segment, because there's a lot to talk about. Valab Mamadipudi says, hey, I read that very well. Thank you very much.
Oh, okay. Cool.
I'm happy that the cranberry belt has turned into the blueberry belt. Also, your parents are liars, and let him in. Why are my parents liars? What are you calling them out for?
Yes, I know, I remember that.
Oh, was that on the Firefly Funhouse segment?
Yes, it was on the Firefly Funhouse segment, which I really liked.
When he made the title belt blue. Yeah, we'll talk about that later, but yeah, that was a funny segment. Limps comes in with a generous donation saying, I'm amused at the depth of this Wyatt Bryan storyline, but I'm not so enthusiastic about the Fiend's character trajectory. Dude lost much of his magic at Hell in a Cell. Trying to stay positive though. Chipping in for your tea, boys. Well, thank you very much for chipping in for the tea. I do agree. I think he lost a lot of his luster at Hell in a Cell. Again, I'm also like you. I'm trying to stay positive. I still enjoy Bray Wyatt, and I'm glad he's Universal Champion. It just should have happened at Hell in a Cell, man. Yeah,
he did lose a lot of that sort of mystique and maybe even like some momentum at Hell in a Cell in a fairly big way. You know, he's gaining some of the momentum back. Obviously, Universal Champion, that happens. The Mystique, we may not get it in the same way as we did. Certainly not when he started. But as far as, like, his momentum goes, getting it back by becoming Universal Champion, and what better way to maintain it than going up against Daniel Bryan? With all that we've talked about just now, great way to maintain that momentum. It would take an anti-miracle for that momentum to now go.
So let's get into the main portion of the show.
Yes.
We're back to the non-live version now.
Yes.
The show started off with a video recap of Baron Corbin's promo from last week. It's still terrible. The epic music behind it did not help.
No,
it was bad. They had some piped-in boos as well, which definitely weren't there last week. Nice try. This was the first of many video recaps on this show.
Did they have video recaps?
I had no idea.
No, me neither.
Genuinely, when I tune in for a show, I only watch it for like 5 minutes, and then I expect the video recaps to tell me everything else that happened.
Right.
Anyway, we had that video recap of Corbin, and then the actual show, the live show itself, started with Corbin.
Yeah.
Again.
Which, I'm okay with Corbin starting the show.
Not every show, though.
I'm actually kind of okay with him starting... Maybe not, perhaps not all, but it fits the character that he has, this King Corbin character of like, I am the king. I should be opening the show. I'm the most important person here.
I think, yes, that fits his character to say, I should open every show. He shouldn't actually open every show.
That's fair. And
I think they should want to. I agree.
They could make something of that. Like, have him open a bunch of shows. A handful of shows in a row, and then when someone else does it, him just to come out and be like, no, I'm King Corbin. I open the show.
That would get nuclear heat from me. Just because I don't want Corbin to open the show. Again, it's nothing against Corbin. He's just being overpushed and stuff. He has a palanquin now. He has the sedan chair.
Yes,
came
the
out
sedan
with
chair throne. Very nice addition to his personal effects.
I know, it was great.
Speaking of additions to his personal effects, he's got the glorious shafts as well.
Yay! I wrote here that it's such a shame because he's making the gimmick really work.
Yeah.
But it absolutely should not be a main event gimmick.
He
was pushed at exactly the right level. When he was having his feud with Shorty G, or if he's feuding over like the Intercontinental title or something, that is the perfect level for King Corbin. And that character and that gimmick and him as a whole, I think that's a perfect level for him. But now, when he's having a feud with Roman and he's getting back into main event scenes and he's opening and closing shows, it's too much, man, in the infamous words of... Oh, God, what's her name? Sarah Lynn from BoJack Horseman. Yeah, I did it. I made a reference. Anyway, you should watch that. It's a good show.
Well done. I tried. I didn't get into it.
Yeah, it's fair enough. It's very depressing. Anyway, Rude and Ziggler are already in the ring to start off the show. And the crowd seemed pretty hot for this. It's big boos for Corbin, which I guess means it's working.
Yeah, there's "you suck" chants going around, which is nice.
Yeah, I guess.
Not for him, for us.
Yeah, but also not for us, because I don't want it to actually work down the main event again, and then I'll have another 3-month feud with Seth Rollins.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And then Rude and Ziggler look like absolute chumps throughout this whole thing. Corbin is just saying, it's my kingdom, blah, blah, blah. And then throughout the whole thing, Rude and Ziggler just walking around him, just nodding and going, yes, it's your kingdom. Yeah, it is your kingdom. This is your kingdom. Yes, you are right. All the time. And it's like, guys, shut up. God.
Yeah, it's
really annoying.
It's like scenes out of 8 Mile. Where you've got all these people going, yeah, you're right. And Eminem's sitting there going, you said this last time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And they kind of did.
You're saying the same S word that he said.
Yeah.
In the infamous words of Eminem.
Uh-huh.
I mean, 2 references on this stream. What the hell?
God, we're doing well.
I know. Corbin then declares himself team captain for Survivor Series.
Yes.
Something. Ziggler and Rude pipe in and say they should have been on Team SmackDown and it should have been them. They'll beat Shorty G and Ali and take their place.
Yeah, like Corbin was focusing quite heavily on the fact that the team of 5 for Team SmackDown, there are 2 like significant weak links, which obviously he believes to be Shorty G and Mustafa Ali, who has a first name again, which is nice. I'm happy for him.
First names.
I always preferred him as Mustafa. I preferred having Mustafa Ali to Ali.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just preferred it as a personal thing.
Yeah.
But I quite like the sort of the little throwaway, almost offhand. Oh, and by the way, hope Roman can pull his weight as well because he's a little bit step behind. Roman. But yes, very much focusing on Mustafa Ali and Shorty G are the weak links of the team, apparently.
Absolutely,
and
yeah.
Ziggles and Robert Roode are going to show them who's boss.
Yeah.
It would seem.
And that was all fine.
Yeah,
that bit was fine.
It would have been fine if, just get into the match, just
exactly.
go straight into
We're going to beat
the match.
Shorty G and Ali, and we're going to take their place for Survivor Series.
Yeah.
Cool, Shorty G and Ali come out and have a match. That's not what happens. Because instead, Corbin calls out Roman Reigns.
Yeah, he says he says he's going to invite Roman Reigns down to the ring. He says he does that wonderful thing that Corbin specifically does very well, which is I'm the bad guy, but I'm going to take the moral high ground. And he says, come down, Roman, come down to the ring because we're on the team together. We should all be able to coexist in the ring. And that would have been fine, have Roman come down to the ring and, Corbin can be doing his I'm taking the moral high ground, and Roman would have to sort of not submit, but be like, well, I'm going to try and take the moral high ground as well as the face in this situation. I'm not going to fight you either, and they can have all that tension building to something happening outside of the ring that doesn't affect the match while the match is happening. Wouldn't that have been great?
Would have been so much better than what actually happened.
Why don't you tell them what happened?
Because Corbin calls out Roman Reigns, says he should come out to the ring, we should coexist. That's cool. Roman's music hits. And a dog mascot comes out onto the ring, like a person in a dog costume, like you'd see like a sports mascot thing, comes out onto the stage. They've remixed Roman Reigns' theme so that at the da-da, 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 da, all of those are now Chihuahua barks. which is really bad.
Yeah.
The dog mascot thing comes down to the ring. He does an ooh-ah thing. And then Corbin makes it do tricks and it bends the knee.
Yep.
And that is awful.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ, what am I watching?
This is just not good stuff. Like, the only good thing to come out of that was Michael Cole just leaning in and really casually just going, could be the Goldie Gooker.
That is a very rare, really good Michael Cole line.
Yes, 100%.
Very rare, but
You
very
don't
good
get
when
them
they
often,
happen.
and we cherish them when they do, especially
Exactly,
when
yeah.
it's the backdrop to it was just this, like, it's... I don't even know. I don't even have words to describe this.
How bad this is?
Yeah, and like we always say every time, this isn't on Corbin.
No,
Like,
it's not on Corbin.
He's every week he comes out there and he's doing his best.
He was really trying,
Yeah.
and he's getting into it, and he's doing the
Yeah.
Chihuahua barks along with the thing, and
Yeah.
it's almost funny. If it wasn't terrible, it would be funny.
Yeah.
But the problem is, it's terrible. And I think the worst part of all of this, I mean, the dog being a dog and coming out and doing the tricks and whatever, that's one thing.
Yeah.
Why didn't Roman come out during
Exactly.
any of this?
Exactly.
During any of this. This guy is laying into you, and he was laying into you last week. He beat you last week, and now
Yep.
he's coming out and he's making fun of you, and he's got a dog mascot and all that stuff. Why aren't you coming out to beat him up?
Yeah, like you are one of the top people in the company, right? You have this upper mid-carder, but
Mid-carder?
just laying into you with these terrible things. He brings out a dog mascot. At that point, as Roman Reigns, you come out, you spear the mascot.
Yeah.
Like, immediately, obviously, you spear the mascot. And then you either sort of stand at the top of the ramp properly, like, roiding out, going, yeah, you're going to do that to me? I'm going to make your life a living hell, mate.
Yeah.
Or you just don't stop and you just spear through. Don't even stop moving.
Yeah.
Just cut the mascot in half.
Yeah.
Some poor jobber who thought WWE was going to be his big break has just died for this. But hey, it'll make a good spot. And just go and make Corbin's life miserable.
Yeah,
For what he's trying to do the same to you.
Exactly.
But it didn't happen.
It doesn't come out until much later on, and even then it was a problem.
Yeah.
I've written here as well. It's like Vince has just realized that Roman is called the big dog. And he's just gone, oh my god, it's got the word dog in it. There's so many things we can do. There's so much dog-based humor.
My God, there's so much material.
In the infamous words of Vince himself, according to John Moxley on the podcast, this is such good S-word. This is the worst kind of Vince. This is terrible, and I hate it with a passion. But it led into a tag team match with Shorty G and Mustafa Ali versus Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler for this Team SmackDown spots. And in-ring wise, this was a very good match.
It was a fine match, really good. Yeah, there
this
was
a really
some
fun
great
match.
action from basically everyone involved.
Yep.
You know, Shorty G had some really nice offense early on. You know, he was sort of slipping out of moves. He was getting some good arm drags in. You know, there was some nice offense from Ali when he got in versus Dolph, and then Dolph was taking back control, getting tags into Roode, cheap shots here and there. It was good, nice action.
Yeah,
it really was.
It was very fun. At one point, Corbin ran distraction and Ali gets knocked into the commentary table, which is when Roman Reigns finally decides to come out.
That's when Roman comes out.
For some reason. Not when he was getting insulted, but because Corbin ran distraction. Sure, whatever. Roman Reigns comes out. I'm like, cool. Roman Reigns is going to come out, spear Corbin. He's going to beat the hell out of him. Maybe beat up the mascot. That would be fun. Roman Reigns comes down.
Ad break.
Ad break. That's what you really want.
Swerved.
I know. So then I was like, oh, okay.
And the sad thing is that sometimes when you come back from ad breaks, you come back and just everything's completely different. Mm-hmm. The whole scene of a match has changed. What happened here was almost on a different level of being just as bad, because we came back from an ad break and between Roman and Corbin, nothing had happened.
Genuinely nothing.
Roman had come down and gone. He was standing by one of the
corner
ring
posts,
and Corbin was standing at the other ring post. holding his scepter out, going, "No, don't you come near me." And Roman was basically doing this. He was like, "I'm here.
Why aren't you beating up Corbin?
Just go and kill him."
Corbin isn't even in the match. It's not like you'd be costing your friends the match
they
via
can't be
DQ or
disqualified.
anything.
There can be no disqualification
Just
there.
beat up Corbin, man, you
Yeah.
moron. Anyway.
But that didn't happen.
In-ring action was still very good, though.
Yeah,
Back to it.
You had like Ali just eating a famouser.
Yeah, it was great.
which was lovely. But then Ali like nearly super kicked Ziggler's head off,
Which was fun.
which was awesome.
Shorty G got a hot tag, hit a big moonsault.
Yep,
There was the super zigzag.
Yep.
To Shorty G, and Ali broke it up.
Yep.
Shorty G countered a super kick. He rolled him through into an ankle lock, which looked really cool.
Uh-huh.
Rude broke that up, and then it looked like
Then there
Rude
was-
wanted to get the scepter from
Yeah,
Corbin.
this was a weird moment because Rude was excuse me, he was like asking Corbin very clearly to give him the scepter. And what was weird about it was Corbin seemed to capitulate
Yeah.
and seemed to be like, "Yeah, go on,
Have the scepter.
have my royal scepter."
Which,
given the way he acted when someone stood on his plastic crown, was a bit odd. I didn't think he'd go for it, but sure, he went for it, but it never happened.
never happened because Roman Reigns came out of nowhere to hit a drive-by
Yep.
onto Baron Corbin, which, Rude then pushes Reigns into the table. Ali hit a dive, and then Reigns hit a spear on Corbin, and then back in the ring, there was a Chaos Theory German suplex from Shorty G. Ali hit the 450 on Ziggler for the win.
Yeah.
And then Ali's music plays for a bit, and then it's time for Roman Reigns' theme because he's the real star here, kids.
Yeah, Roman Reigns' music gets played. So you say Shorty G and Mufasa are off to Survivor Series.
You just call him Mufasa Ali.
Oh God, did I? Admittedly, I was watching Lion King not so long ago. And
Long live the king, Corbin. We then get announced.
Corbin lays out Roman Reigns the end of days. Rude and Ziggler come up behind him without looking, just goes, "Kill him."
They are the hyenas here for sure.
But
we-
Mustafa Ali
Yes,
is what I meant.
Mustafa Ali,
Mustafa Ali and
Shorty
Shorty
G
G.
going to Survivor Series.
working well together as a team,
Sure.
which is nice. If make them a tag team. If they
put Shorty G in another tag team, why not? See if this one works.
Yeah, it hasn't worked out for him so well previously, but
Yeah.
maybe this one. I mean, if they put those two in a tag team and don't call it Ali G in the house, then what are we even doing here? Just have that Chaos Theory German suplex into 450, make that their tag team finisher, call it the Booyaka Shot, and just have done with it.
And give him a manager called Majuli.
Yeah, why not?
Perfect.
Why not?
We then get the announcement of Nikki Frost versus Bayley. If Nikki wins, she's on Team SmackDown at Survivor Series, and then we have announcement of Miz TV with Daniel Bryan later on, which is fine, whatever. We get a recap of the Fiend's attack from last week.
Yep.
Sure. We then get a very quick Firefly Funhouse segment where Bray changes the Universal title into blue.
Yes, he does. He says he thinks that something's not quite right, and then he spins around and suddenly he's a magician in a cloak.
Yeah, he's got a little cape and the
Got
gloves
the hat,
and
got the
and
wand.
the
It's beautiful.
wand.
It's wonderful.
It's cool. He turns the Universal title to blue, and he's happy about that.
Yeah, he says some weird magic words that sound. I mean, I think the first bit sounded something like regular magic MacGuffin words or something, and then at one point in the magic words are the words "Your parents are liars," which I quite liked.
It's good. He says he's going to be watching Miz TV.
Yep.
He'll be watching, and he'll be watching too, which was, a nice
Ominous.
little moment. We then cut back and we get a replay of the match that just happened. Come on, guys, we don't have that short-term memory loss. Jesus. Corbin's then backstage with his dog, Rude and Ziggler, and Rude and Ziggler are saying that they should still be on the team for Team SmackDown even though they lost, and Corbin says, as their king, he will fix it for them.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of things with this. Firstly, why is the dog still there? Secondly, was I the only one who was expecting the person in the dog costume to be a member of the roster?
Yeah, I think you were. I wasn't.
I had hopes. Obviously not Roman himself, because surely not.
Yeah.
But I thought it might be someone. I don't know, like a member maybe of Team Hogan. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. I
Hogan
guess
himself.
a member of Team Braun? Team SmackDown? I don't know. Tell you what, though. It's going to happen next week, though, isn't it?
Oh no.
Yeah.
No, it is, isn't it?
Roman's going to be in it next week.
Oh, no.
He's going to come out. Corbin's going to come out with his dog mascot, and everyone thinks it's just a normal dog mascot. And he's going to make him do some tricks in the ring. He's going to bend the knee, and he's going to do it.
Yeah, he's going to do all these things.
He's going to bend the knee, and he's going to do all the tricks that he wants. And then when Corbin goes, ha ha ha, and he's going to turn away, and then boom, spear as he comes back in, and Roman's going to take the head off and be like, it was me.
And it won't matter.
And it won't matter because you already did all the things that Corbin wanted you to do.
He's already been humiliated.
Jesus Christ. It's going to be terrible.
Yeah, but Vince will like it.
Vince will love it.
Oh, yeah.
We then get a video recap of Tyson Fury and Braun Strowman becoming best friends last week. Braun Strowman then comes out and he annihilates Drew Gulak in the B team. There is nothing more to say about this because why is Braun still beating up people? Drew Gulak said, here's how I'll keep it simple. I can save Team SmackDown.
Yeah.
And Braun goes, I don't care. And then he just beats them all up. And then that's that. I don't care about seeing Braun Strowman beat up 3 people. Not in 2019.
He doesn't need to anymore.
Not even close. It's been 3.5 years since he split from the Wyatt family and started beating people.
Yeah.
And it worked then and it got him over because it was a build. Because he started off beating 1 person and then 2 people and then 3 people. And then he got into a feud.
And it was a good feud.
Yeah, with Sami Zayn.
Feud.
It was a good feud. And then 2019 is not the time for him to still be beating up 3 random people.
No.
He should be having feuds. You know,
one of them shouldn't
like
be
a
Drew
wrestler.
Gulak.
Yeah. God. Jesus. Anyway.
Yeah,
It's whatever. Braun
seemed-
beats him up.
It seemed like there was... Like, I'm looking through the notes I've made and I'm remembering it. There was no stakes here. It's not even like there was low stakes. There was no stakes to this at all. Braun just beat up
This was
3
a
people.
vegetarian segment. There were no stakes.
Wow.
New Day backstage afterwards. They cut a promo in gorilla position. There's some local sports team references.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
Patriots were there.
Yeah,
and some other team.
See, I understand this. I'm properly Captain
you
America.
sports.
I'm properly Captain America here. I understood that reference.
Okay.
I do sports. I don't do sports. Like, you know.
But you sports.
I
though.
sport.
Okay.
I have been known to sport on occasion.
Okay.
You know.
So do they have beef? Does Kofi support another team?
But
who did what and when?
basically, Kayla once again got the golden ticket of being able to interview the New Day backstage, so she's probably like on cloud 9 right now.
Yep.
And she's asking like if, you know, as the New Day defend their tag titles, will they be as successful, you know, this without Xavier Woods at ringside? And Biggie's responses to this being, is a pig's tiddly bit pork? Sure it is Big E. But
Big E is a gift.
Big E's got more questions for us.
Okay.
And he says someone, I'm not sure what he says here, but it sounded like he was saying Megan the Stallion. I'm not sure who he's referring to, but he asks, is she a gift on this earth that we should forever be grateful for? I mean, Big E is the gift on this earth that we should forever be grateful for. And then he kind of calls out Kofi's team, where he's like, did the Philadelphia Eagles... Oh, what are you looking up?
It's Megan the Stallion. That's a person, apparently.
Who is that?
I don't know. We're finding out. You keep talking. I'm finding out.
Yeah, he then calls out Kofi's team. He's like, you know, did the Philadelphia Eagles beat the Pats basically to become 2018 Super Bowl champions? And Kofi's just like, wow, you went there. You actually went there. And Big E just like, haha, yeah, I did. But it's all jokes and laughs between those two because they love each other and they love Xavier because he's always with them in their hearts, which is the important thing. And yeah, they're going to go out there and try and win, yes. And then Big E just like, Kayla, Mike, and just launches directly
into his intro.
Directly into his intro. Is he getting even more into his intro now?
I would be if I was
think
him.
he is, and I'm about it.
Yeah, he's great. I love Big E and he's a gift. Megan Thee Stallion is an American rapper, singer, actress, and songwriter. The more you know. She was born in 1995. It's really depressing. She's born 2 years after me.
4 years after me.
I know, crazy. Anyway, yeah. So the New Day do their entrance.
Yep, and then
we get an ad break,
Yep.
and then we get a backstage segment because what is an order? Daniel Bryan's backstage. Sami and Shinsuke come in, and they're continuing this story of Sami Zayn trying to recruit Daniel Bryan into his little stable. Although they weren't with Cesaro this time, don't know where he's gone, but apparently he's still there.
I think Cesaro's only been with them twice.
once.
Well, yes,
I
once.
want to say once.
And
I don't know.
But he's there, and
He was mentioned, I think.
he was mentioned by name, and
Yeah.
Sammy's basically saying he knows we know the Fiend is watching.
Yeah.
Right. Like, we need an answer tonight.
Yep.
Do you want to join our super secret team?
And Daniel just goes, nope. And he says, hey, if you're saying all the things that you're saying, why'd you run away last week?
Yeah. And
Which is like, yeah, fair point.
I quite like sort of Shinsuke just like sitting at the back, and Sammy's doing his brilliant heel Sami Zayn bluster. He's like, I thought you were running with me. I could almost feel you behind me, and also I was going to get Shinsuke. And he just cuts him off.
Yeah. And he's saying, no, I've had enough, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to join you.
Doesn't need your help,
Don't need your help. But, Braun Strowman would be great for you.
He's like,
and
you're
I was
missing
like,
something. It's Braun.
I was like, say, what now? And then Sammy goes, oh, not Braun. Mouths off against Braun.
His whole thing is just like, we are artists. We are poets. We are intellectuals. He's just big and strong.
And then Braun Strowman is suddenly there.
Yes.
And again, Sammy is such a good heel. And he's like, oh, I didn't know you were there. You're so quiet. It was
I've got the
great.
exact description he uses of him.
Okay.
He says he's big and quiet. Like a supple leopard.
Again, Sammy is a gift.
Yeah.
And then they just go, we're just going to go now. And then they kind of walk off.
Don't find us, we'll find you.
Don't find us, we'll find you. They walk off.
Yeah.
So as great as Sammy is, and Sammy is great, don't get me
Yes.
wrong here. This is a storyline that's been built for quite a few weeks now. Since before Crown Jewel, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And this is the payoff. For Daniel Bryan just to go, no. And that's it. And this is a really subtle, cool story they've been telling.
Yeah.
We don't know. There's a lot of mystique, a lot of mystery. We don't know what side Daniel Bryan is on.
Exactly.
He seems to be intrigued by Sammy's offer. He's not like being annoyed by him or anything. It's just kind of he's a blank slate. You don't really know what he's thinking the whole time. So then for him to just go like, nah, and then walk off, it was like, well, that's a bit underwhelming.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, Daniel Bryan's got his own thing coming up, with his Survivor Series stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it leaves Sammy kind of on the fence. I mean, sure, he's got Nax, and I guess he's got Cesaro.
Question mark.
But the whole situation revolving around Sammy, Nakamura, and Cesaro potentially with Daniel Bryan involved in whatever way, whether he was a part of it, or whether he was actively going to be against it, and have that kind of interplay between them, we were really invested in that. It was going to be, we thought it was going to be really quite interesting to see how that would play out. And for him to just say, nah, but by the way, Braun's around, have you thought about asking Braun? Now, Sammy and Braun, big fan. Big fan of those two working together. We've already seen it. And that in itself is quite an intriguing, tantalizing prospect, because we've seen Braun when he wasn't the in-room worker he is now.
Yep.
Versus super babyface Sami Zayn.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be really interested to see great Braun versus super heel Sami Zayn.
I mean, I know how that would go. It would end in 2 seconds, and Braun would win.
Yes, but I think you could get some fun stuff out of it. Like,
Possibly.
if they were willing to let them work for a little bit more than 2 seconds, we know they can work pretty well together.
Sure. Yeah, I guess so.
Also,
But regardless,
Braun versus Cesaro.
Braun versus Cesaro, I can dig.
That could be fun.
That would be very fun. So regardless, I thought that was a little bit underwhelming. But then we get the New Day. Oh, remember when Big E and Kofi made their entrance? Now we're getting back to that.
Yes.
Because it's now time for New Day versus Revival.
Several hours later.
Yeah, and this was a very fun match.
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought this was a great match.
I really enjoyed this
good
one.
in-ring work for all of them. It went through an ad break. Dawson tags and Kingston avoids an elbow senton. I've written, I don't know what he went for, but
Yeah.
Dawson kind of leapt off and fell on the mat on his back. I don't know what he was going for, but it was something. Kofi came back into it. Big E gets the hot tag, and he slams Wilder around for a bit. Wilder gets his knees up on the splash. Big E hit a massive Uranagi in the corner, which I
Enormous
love.
Uranagi.
It's so good. And then it gets towards the end. The Revival come back and Kingston hit a big dive, and then there's a DDT. Revival go for the double hanging DDT, and they call out Randy Orton, which is like a nice throwback to FTRKO, which was a fun little stable they had.
Yeah.
The Revival, they catch Kofi's dive, and just throw him into the ring post. They just like, yeet, just straight in, face first, bonk.
And
it was
you
great.
go over there.
Yeah, which was great. Big E gets caught with a shatter machine, and Kofi broke it up with a dive. And then Undisputed Era came out. They interfere. They beat down both the New Day and the Revival. And they stand tall. They beat him up on the outside. They beat him up on the inside of the ring.
Yeah,
they're standing tall. Like,
you had Adam Cole and
Undisputed
Roddy
Era.
Strong just dragging Kofi out of the ring and just administering this beatdown. They smash his torso over the barricades. And I thought, oh, Adam Cole and Roddy Strong are here. And then they cut to the other side of the ring where Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish are just taking it to the Revival as well.
It's great, yeah.
Yeah.
So this was fun because this is what they didn't do with Imperium.
Yes.
So this is when Undisputed Era came out. They beat down 4 people.
Yep.
So it wasn't like they had a numbers advantage.
2 teams.
It was 2 teams versus the one stable of Undisputed Era. They beat them down. They hit good moves. They hit the tag team finisher, the total elimination / high-low.
High-low,
It's called both, I think. They hit that twice, and they were all standing there like, yeah, we're Undisputed Era.
Yeah.
We're really cool. And that's when the rest of the SmackDown roster came down, and they chased them off, which is fine, because like 7 of them came down.
This is why it works. It works so much better with Undisputed Era than it could possibly have worked with Imperium, because Imperium's whole thing is we're better than you and we're classy about it. Like, we look the part.
They respect the rules. That's the thing, Imperium.
So
That's
when
their thing.
Imperium came in, beat down 2 dudes, admittedly big dudes, but beat down 2 dudes and got chased off by 5 people, and they scattered, and they looked disorganized. That's the thing. They looked disorganized, and Imperium are not supposed to look disorganized.
Yeah.
Undisputed Era are much more of the opportunistic ones. So when they take on 2 teams at the same time, then get chased off and they scatter, it works.
Exactly. It makes sense. And that is a tiny, tiny little difference. But it makes and breaks a segment. Because that Imperium one, I really didn't get on board with. The Undisputed Era one, I really like. And I like both of these teams, Imperium
100%.
and Undisputed Era. It's not like a personal preference thing. It's just because it works for Undisputed Era. They look like a cohesive unit. They beat down 2 separate sides of teams
Both
together.
Current and previous champions.
Exactly. Beat them down and then got scared off by a lot more people. And they go, that's more numbers than we can handle. Let's get out of here.
Going.
That's fine. Imperium hit Otis with like a boot and then got chased off, and that was it.
It didn't work, but here it worked really well. And the whole segment, match from start to finish, was really good. You had great in-ring action. You had, I thought, a nice side of not a nice side, but like an interesting side of the Revival, where sort of last time they tried this kind of heelish skullduggery, and it didn't work. So this time they literally just went back to, what do we do best? We isolate the weaker one. We don't let Big E get in. When he does, we make sure he's out as soon as possible. We go back to Kofi.
Yeah.
Like, they know they can't hang with Big E in terms of brute strength. They know they can't really hang with Kofi in terms of, I'm just going to get up from anything you do to me. But they can still beat him down. They cut him. You know, they're always talking about how they're the best at cutting the ring in half. But the commentary team has a point there.
Yeah, they're really good at it.
They just go back to what they do best.
Yeah.
And it
Which was
does
nice.
nearly work.
Yeah, it was great.
Because the match ends in a DQ, basically.
Yeah, and that was fine. Totally okay with that. So then we get an ad break, and then we get a replay of the Undisputed Era interference that just happened.
Literally just happened.
Jesus Christ. Come on, guys. Fenton. Jesus Christ.
Fenton.
Fenton. And then Heavy Machinery, who ran down as part of the SmackDown roster to chase the Undisputed Era, are still there in the ring.
I quite like how they ran down with Lucha House Party and Apollo Crews. He's back. And also Heath Slater for a split second, I think I saw there.
Are they a team?
Apollo Crews and Heath Slater.
Maybe. I don't know.
Interesting.
I don't know. They could be. Anyway, Heavy
it was
Machinery.
nice to see that he's alive still.
Yeah, that's good. Heavy Machinery is still there.
Yep.
They take on some jobbers. I have one note about this match, and it says they win.
Yep. In a shock, twist, an absolute swerve that no one was expecting, Heavy Machinery defeated the team of Kevin Tibbs and Kip Stevens.
I'm surprised you wrote their names down.
Oh, I like to make a note of these things. You
Um,
never know when in 15 years' time, when Kevin Tibbs is the second second Universal Champion, as in the champion of the second. I don't know. I don't know.
What?
I don't know. I'm talking about the future when Kevin Tibbs is a champion.
Okay.
It's gonna happen.
It's going to happen, totally.
It's not.
Heavy Machinery win, it's whatever.
Yeah.
Otis is still great, but I don't care about squash matches. It's the same thing with Viking Raiders, it's the same with Braun Strowman. These squash matches are not really doing anything. We've seen all of Heavy Machinery's offense. They've been having feuds.
Yeah.
You can't then do feuds and then take them back to squash matches again.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work.
Yeah, I mean, they need. I don't know who it's going to be, but Heavy Machinery, they had a bit of losses happening where it was very unfortunate they did, and it was too many in a row. Even in that sort of the however many team it was, longest name in the world, stupid, ridiculous, go for it.
That largest tag team turmoil match to determine the World Cup for the best tag team in the world. I almost screwed it up there.
Nearly, but you got there in the end.
Yeah.
You rescued that well.
Rescued it.
Yeah, when they were looking okay in that, they took out 1-2 teams, I think, and then were just gone because better teams existing, apparently.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like, they've had unfortunate times, but to just throw squash match after squash match after them, for one thing, it's not squash, it's wrestling. Sorry, I had to. Even I feel bad about that one.
That was bad.
Yeah, but they need something legitimate.
Yes.
Because they are a legitimately great team. You can't just keep... I think they are. You can't just keep throwing squash matches at them.
They're a fun team.
They are, but they're not just a fun team. They're not a one-trick pony team.
They're a fun team.
Don't you disrespect Heavy Machinery in front of me. I love them. But they need a legitimate team challenge at some point.
Yeah, they do. I
don't know who that's going to be.
Yeah. Tag division's looking kind of thin. So
yeah.
Who knows?
Rude and Ziggler.
Yeah, totally. And then we get more video recaps.
Oh, more? Oh, good. I was missing out.
Great. These ones recapped all of Bayley and Shayna's interferences. Bayley came in on NXT this week, hit her new facebuster thingy, which looks cool, onto the title belt, which was a nice spot from NXT. Yep. Bayley's backstage with Banks, having a backstage interview. Bayley says that every time she's got in the ring lately, it's been personal because now it's finally about her, which is a really cool line. Banks says that Nikki can't prove herself because Bayley's beaten her countless times and Banks has already beaten her. So why is she having a chance to prove herself then?
Yeah, you'd have thought they'd just be like, no.
Yeah, well, whatever. Logic. I still really like heel Bayley.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of heel Bayley.
It's great. Nikki Cross makes her entrance. But before we can have the match, it's time for more video packages.
No.
Yes.
Oh,
this time, about the WrestleMania 36 on sale party from Tampa, Florida. Tickets are on sale now.
Great.
And then we get a video recap of the opening tag match.
Oh, man. So many.
Why?
I don't
Anyway.
get it. It's I don't even know whose fault that is. It's just the people splicing it together, I guess.
I think they didn't have enough content for this show. So they're like, we're going to play loads of replays, especially with what happened at the end when they were like, oh God, we've still got a minute left.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
I think they didn't have enough content for this show. They were like, we'll do a load of replays.
Yeah.
And it's fine.
Yeah.
We get confirmation of a 6-man tag match next week. Roman Reigns, Shorty G, and Mustafa Ali taking on King Corbin, Robert Roode, and Dolph Ziggler.
Can't wait for that one.
Riveting.
Yep.
We then get Nikki Cross versus Bayley, which was what was slated to happen before.
Yeah. I liked seeing Nikki back in her traditional colours.
Did she change?
Well, no, I mean, like in previous matches, she's been wearing sort of light purples and sort of verging on pinks and stuff. And this week she was back in the dark blue and the grey that she used to wear back in the day. And I just like the change back. I think it's... I don't want to give too much credit where no credit is due, but a sort of subtle change back to her, going back to her, how scrappy she was before, and basically she needs to get back on a rise. So, I don't know. I just like her going back to her traditional colours.
I think you just like Nikki Cross.
Big fan of Nikki Cross.
I think that's all it is.
Big fan of
I
Nikki
think
Cross.
you're reading it way too much.
I could well
this.
be, but I liked it.
Yeah.
Also, I've decided I really like Bayley's entrance music. I was on the fence before. I know people have said it's a little bit... What's the word I'm looking for here?
Generic?
Yes, exactly that.
Yep.
Exactly that. People said it's a bit generic. Yeah, I agree at the start, but it's grown on me.
It's all right. The match barely gets underway before Shayna Baszler comes out. She slides into the ring, and then Bayley's like, no, I'm all right this time. She gets out and jumps into the crowd, but swerve!
But wait, there's more.
There's more. There's so much more because Tegan Nox, Dakota Kai, Mia Yim, and Rhea Ripley are all there in the crowd being like, hey, Bayley, sup, B? And then they body slam her back over the bar.
B.
Like, because it's Bayley. You get it?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah. And then they body slam her back into the ring. There's a big schmoz that happens. A load of SmackDown women come out.
A big what?
Schmoz. You know what schmoz is.
No.
Yeah. They all come out.
I'm sorry, do I?
Yeah.
My mistake.
Yeah. There's a big brawl that happens.
There you go, brawl.
Loads of NXT SmackDown women getting involved. Bayley evaporates, I think. She just kind of vanishes. And then there's a 4-on-4 match that's set up.
Yeah, Sasha kind of gets on the mic and's like, oh, you're trying to take the spotlight. All right, well, I'm going to give you the spotlight.
Yeah.
Now, I hadn't noticed it as much when this has happened at other times.
Mm-hmm.
It's so very obvious when it happens here.
Yes.
Because firstly, and I know you pointed this out before as well, all 4 of those invaders from NXT have significant, in many cases, issues or beef. I believe I'm saying that right. Is that the way the kids are saying it these days?
Supposedly, yes.
Got beef.
Got beef. Fam.
With Shayna Baszler.
Yes.
So why are they the 4 who come to back her up?
I know. Rhea Ripley on Twitter has tried to, justify it and said,
yeah,
just so you guys know, we're not backing up Shayna Baszler. We're backing up NXT because Bayley came in. And it's like, well, yeah, but Bayley came in to attack Baszler.
Yeah.
So that still doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that's what you want to do anyway.
Exactly, which it just doesn't make sense.
That is its own thing. But what was even more obvious to me was when she was introducing the idea of the match to the NXT invaders, when they were standing out on the ringside, on the apron, when to get into the match as it was happening, and at the end of the match, for whatever result happened, like, Sasha is standing right next to Nikki. They're standing together while Nikki is wrestling. Sasha is, like, applauding and supporting. But what happened to 10 minutes ago when they were, like, at each other's throats?
Literally like a blood feud.
There's a feud happening.
And it gets completely thrown out the window because brand supremacy's here. And that is way more important than any other emotional feud that you've got. Doesn't matter. You hate someone, put your feelings on hold because SmackDown is truly in your hearts.
Yeah.
It sucked. Sasha Banks, Nikki Cross, Dana Brooke, and Carmella took on Rhea Ripley, Tegan Nox, Dakota Kai, and Mia Yim. How the hell is Yim wrestling after Wednesday? What a trooper.
Yeah.
Don't understand,
Mental.
but she's great. There's some really nice sequences in this match. But then after an ad break, it comes back and everyone hits their big moves. Everyone gets in the protect your neck. There's a super kick. There's some other things that happen. Dakota Kai is in against Nikki Cross. She hits a scorpion kick. But out of nowhere, Nikki Cross hits her swinging neck breaker. She picks up the win for the SmackDown team. So NXT lose. And then NXT guys try to attack people after the bell. And then
the rest of the
SmackDown come down and send them packing.
Yeah.
So NXT lose and they get sent away without standing tall.
Yeah, it wasn't...
NXT is the cool brand, everybody.
It wasn't a great showing in that regard. Like, they looked okay. They looked fine in the ring, like we say, with so many of these matches. The in-ring action was fine.
They looked fine in the ring against Dana Brooke and Carmella. Yeah, it was great.
I mean, you make a good point. I mean, Rhea Ripley had a really, really nice little segment with Sasha Banks.
Yeah, she did.
With a lot of counters going on, a lot of good hits, like Sasha eventually getting her into the bank statement, which Ripley took about 3 nanoseconds to get out of because she's Rhea Ripley. But yeah, they didn't look great at the end.
No, not at all.
They really didn't. And
wasn't fun.
And that almost overshadowed the fact that the whole point of the match to start with, before the invasion happened, was if Nikki Cross cannot beat Bayley, Nikki Cross does not go to Survivor Series. Well, Bayley, as we know, got dragged through a wormhole somewhere.
Yeah, she just Thanos.
She just vanished. She's gone. So, does Nikki get to go to Survivor Series?
We don't know.
We don't know.
Sasha was very keen to have Nikki on her team for some reason. So, is she now going to be impressed because Nikki got the win for SmackDown? Maybe she's going to be like, you know what? I respect you now, and you're going to be on Team SmackDown or something stupid.
I doubt it.
Yeah.
I
mean,
doubt it.
and if any of the NXT people had to lose, I'm glad it was Dakota Kai, because she's not the
Yeah.
one that's in the War Games match
Yeah.
at War Games.
Exactly.
That was a good choice. However, couldn't Dana Brooke or Carmella have taken the pin? Can you just have NXT win?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be better?
Yeah.
To make your new upcoming brand look good? I don't know. Maybe that's outside the box thinking.
Another thing I quite liked here, and like how they've been building it, is the use of Shayna Baszler. And what makes it interesting is I didn't think I'd like it.
Okay.
Knowing what they've done, I didn't think it's the kind of thing I would like, because when she started, as we all know, a couple of weeks ago it was, she just literally RKO'd it. She came out of nowhere.
Yep.
And just, it was, suddenly she's here, Impact things are happening, people are getting hurt.
Yep.
And that was that. And as they've been using her, as the weeks have progressed, she's been coming in earlier and earlier to matches, and with less impact. Which is weird that I didn't think I'd like this, but I really do. She's like a shark. Like, the initial attack is sudden, and you're dead.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Careful.
Nearly hit my laptop.
Yeah.
That's the first one. Now, with this one, with less than a minute, she's in the ring, but she's just sauntering up. She's just so confident. She's like, yeah, I'm here. Look at me approach. Look at me coming in. What are you going to do about it? And when she left, she was just like, nah, I'm out of here. Got my title. I'm gone.
Yeah.
I like how they're using it, and I didn't think I would, but I do.
Didn't really pick up on that, but that's nice. So yeah, after that whole NXT debacle happens, they run down the Survivor Series card, and then we get the Miz TV main event that we've already spoken about.
Yes.
So that is SmackDown. I thought this was a pretty meh episode of SmackDown, because the dog mascot to start off, NXT
was off
looking
to a
like
bad start.
It's a bad start. NXT looked like idiots, and they're teaming despite the War Game storylines and Nikki and Sasha, and I didn't like that. The payoff to the Sami Bryan feud was essentially nothing, and just all the video recaps in the world. Good God. I thought this was pretty boring. The two saving graces, the New Day Revival match and the Undisputed Era running in was pretty good, and the Bray Bryan stuff I thought was pretty good again, building a solid story out of it. So for me, that takes it to a smack bang in the middle, a 3 out of 5 for me.
I would happily give it a slap bang in the middle as well, 3 out of 5 for me as well. Like, the episode itself was off to a rough start, and it was weird. The episode itself seemed to lack momentum, which is weird. But like you said, there were aspects of it that went quite a long way to trying to save it, and quite a long way towards succeeding. Obviously, say the Bray Bryan stuff, that's something that is genuinely very exciting.
Yeah.
Very excited for that. Excited to see how it's going to play out, what kind of passings are going to come into it. As you say, the NXT Women Invaders look good in the ring, but they sort of looked a little bit weakened as a force. But the Undisputed Era able to rescue it for NXT with what they did, which was fantastic. The in-ring action was very good, as a general rule of thumb. Usually is.
Yeah.
Like, there's very little wrong with the in-ring action. It's just what it's built around doesn't really help it. It doesn't carry it the way it could help to carry it.
Yeah.
And yeah, you know, some of these options like Miz TV coming in at the end, it's nice to see that being like the sort of main thing. It's quite cool. It's a bit different. Also, just thought I'd mention, when he mentioned the name of the pay-per-view, Miz did kind of sound like he called it Crown Jewel, which I'm about. I hope that was deliberate. Don't know if it was, but I hope it was.
That'd be great.
Yeah, I'd put this slap bang in the middle. I'd put it sort of almost as central can be within that grade boundary.
Fair enough. So we've actually got something a bit different today. We've got a little poll, because Ollie did a poll on the community tab on YouTube to see what people thought of SmackDown, because the edited review hasn't been up as of the time of recording. The edited review is currently not up on YouTube yet, so we'll get some votes on that as well. But on the community tab, 9,600 votes in this poll.
Nice, guys and girls.
So, what did people think of it? Well, vast majority agreed with us. 56% of people saying it's smack bang in the middle. 17%, slightly higher with smacktastic, and 13% saying smack downer. So it's very kind of centralized in those middle three options for sure.
Yeah.
10% said a smack in the face, and 5% said smacknificent.
Fair enough.
So yeah, mostly pretty average, is what
Yeah.
we call this episode for sure. But now, let's get into the rest of the super chats that came in on the stream before the stream died a death.
Yes.
Let's get into some of the more of these. So, Matthew Robinson said, Pete, you're amazing as always. Thanks. It is so bad how this NXT invasion is up and down. Really feel like this time of year, one person should write all 3 shows to have a central theme. You'd be right, however, that one person would be Vince McMahon, and it would be awful.
We'd like to pick and choose the person that writes it, and ideally, probably Triple H.
Yeah.
But bang on the money with the NXT invasions being up and down, you know.
Really up and
This episode itself just acting as a microcosm for that.
For sure. Matthew Robinson again said, love Bray Wyatt using the yes word to get to Daniel.
Yeah.
Which was cool. I like it.
I like that.
Liked it.
It's just Bray finding ever new and unique ways to get into individual people's heads.
Yeah, it's nice. Sterling Van says, hey, I like Roman Reigns. I just want to buy into him losing by submission moves more. I, however, cannot stand Kona Reeves. I mean, those are 2 very different people. Kona Reeves, you know, Tesco's finest. And, yeah, I'd like to buy Roman Reigns losing to submission sometimes. It'd be nice if he did. He hasn't, I don't think, ever. Question mark?
I can't remember an individual time.
Yeah.
Did he ever... Oh, hang on.
I don't think he did.
Do you remember when Braun had that awful bear hug? Did he ever pass out to that?
He might have passed out, but I don't think he's ever tapped.
Oh, no, yeah. No, I don't remember him
I don't think he's tapped. Briz said, what's your opinion on the Blue Universal Championship? I prefer it to the red one. It's still not great. That's my opinion. Matthew Robinson again says, question, if WrestleTalk got to write WWE shows for 9 months and could do long-term booking, what numbers do you think max WWE could get per show? If WrestleTalk booked it, it would drop to about 1 million viewers per episode. We can't write shows. That's why we critique it and not do it ourselves.
Yeah, we have wild ideas that would only ever work in theory and never in practice.
And we do jokes that would pop us and no one else.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It would be like the team on commentary just hardly able to commentate because they'd be saying things and cracking themselves up.
Yes.
And no one else would be laughing.
Absolutely, yeah, that's exactly what would happen.
So that works.
Jason Lindblad says, Bryan versus Fiend is the match at Survivor Series I'm most excited for, but as far as that SmackDown show goes, how do you feel about ending a show like that rather than ending with some action as being in the live audience? Well, the live audience do get to see dark matches afterwards.
Yes.
Which is fine. There were 2 of them on this episode. There was Roman Reigns versus Corbin, and there was Bray Wyatt versus Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
So they got to see both of those, so I don't mind an episode not ending with action as long as it's some sort of cliffhanger, which this kind of was, sort of. If Miz hadn't said, there you have it, it's Daniel Bryan versus The Fiend, I think it probably would have been a bit of a more impactful ending.
I agree with that.
I think it was all right. I think it's fine.
Yeah, I've got no particular problem with not a lack of action, but a different segment than action ending a show, because, you know, you can garner as much interest with good sort of character creation storytelling as you can with a really good match. And if anything, you know, the ability to leave on a cliffhanger is easier with words than it is with actions.
Yeah, for sure.
So, realistically speaking, having it end on a talking segment could work really well.
Yeah, for sure.
I think, you know, someone may have jumped the gun this particular time. It didn't take away from the overall feel of the segment itself, though. So I think it can be quite good.
Yeah. Matthew Willis comes in to say, is it just me, or did the crowd slowly stop yes chanting as Bray's got louder and louder? Also, first super chat, boys. Well, thank you very much for your first super chat. And yeah, I think the crowd were like, oh yeah, yes chant. Yes, yes, yes. And then they saw Bray, they were like, oh, that's creepy.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
going,
no.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, this is getting weird now.
Yeah, let's stop doing that. And then they stopped. Joe Libro says, Bray versus Cena, and Cena finally turns heel. Best for ratings, Cena heel is crazy and good for Bray, and reforms Wyatt family and finally goes for Taker. I like maybe one of those ideas, which is Bray versus Cena. I don't think Cena should turn heel.
Bray versus Cena.
Bray versus Cena I'd like, because Cena beat him at WrestleMania. Still plays into Bray's history at WrestleMania 30. Beat him at WrestleMania, which should have been Bray's big coming out moment. And his kind of, here's Bray and he's a main event player. And Cena won.
Cena wins.
So I think, if Bray faces Cena, that would be fun. And I don't want Cena to turn heel. I don't want him to reform the Wyatt family. And I don't want him to go after Taker, because I don't have any interest in seeing The Undertaker wrestle anymore. Unfortunately. He's not very good anymore. Sorry. Fritz XXITFK777, great name, says, was worried Miz and Bryan would be friends because babyfaces. Glad they weren't. Well, I don't really know if Bryan is a babyface. He's a nothing right now. But yes, I'm very glad they weren't friends.
He's an enigma wrapped in a mystery, wrapped in a blank face.
Yeah, that. But yes, I'm very glad also that they weren't friends.
I like that Miz brought it up so quickly as well. Just like, yeah, look, I get it. We don't get along. We don't see eye to eye.
Yeah.
I like it when people do that, but still get along with it. It's done. Miz does it very well. There have been others who do it quite well. Randy Orton has done it previously, I think, with Jeff Hardy.
Wouldn't surprise me.
On Miz TV, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was when Miz was trying to get them to sort of feud, and he was like, look what Jeff Hardy's done to you. He's embarrassed you. He's disrespected you. Yeah. And Randy's like, I mean, he just took a chance. He just took his opportunity. As far as we're concerned, like, we're cool.
Yeah, that was quite good. But now, thank you very much for your super chat, by the way. We've got to thank some other people, and that is our $25 and above pledge hammers on Patreon. If you've not visited our Patreon page, you should. Patreon.com/WrestleTalk. You can get all sorts of bonus content. You get a monthly pay-per-view review, which this month is going to be Survivor Series 1997, aka Montreal Screwjob. So that one Luke and Ollie will be reviewing for later on in the month. That's for the $5 pledge hammer tier. $10, you get your name in the credits, and you get an extra bonus podcast as well. $25 and above, you get these shout-outs right now. So thank you to Shaun of the Dead Peril.
Beautiful.
Woo, yeah,
Love
and
that
you get
name.
your own
Wonderful
cheap
stuff.
pop as well.
Like this one for We're Going on a Brian Huntley.
Woo! Yes, thank you. Robin Banks, Lee Roberts.
Ooh,
yeah,
nice,
Robin Banks.
Nice. He can last Sean for longer than you in the ring.
Hey, longer than you in the ring.
Sure he can.
Rebel without a crew, Robert Rodriguez.
Lovely,
Yes,
lovely.
thank you very much.
Float like a butterfly. Butterfly?
A butterfly.
I missed out an L there. Float like a butterfly. Salman Ali.
Samad Ali. Whoop, 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 whoop. Thank you. Duncan. Just Duncan.
Oh, I'm not sure I can support that. It's stealing my brand. But I like it, Duncan. Butter me up, Soren Nord.
Woo, yes. Ryan B. Bad.
Love it.
Lovely
Fantastic.
stuff.
And finally, Hallamania, Patrick Hall.
Woo, yes. Thank you very much, everybody, for your support on Patreon.
Absolutely.
And thank you for watching. Please press the videos that have just appeared on the desk to catch up with the latest WrestleTalk things. And this button right here that'll make you a pledge hammer on Patreon as well. I've been Chopper P. Quinnell. This is Dave Just Dave. And that was SmackDown.